Hey everybody, how you doing? Come on in. Sorry I'm late. I apologize for that. I should have gotten here on time, and let's see here. I'm going to quickly acknowledge everybody that's here, and we are on day five of our financial consciousness training. Let's see. I see Lashonda and Anthony Ruffin. Who else is here? I see Justin Pender. Good to see you. Jamal Tate, James Keller. James Simpson, Lori Thomas, I see you, Thomas Robinson, Khaleesi, like Game of Thrones, Henry Irving, Camara, good to see you. Let's see, Danita, Nicole, Tony, Sheila, good to see you. Good morning, Winston, and Melissa Walker. Good morning, everybody. Okay. So first of all, I want to say I'm sorry for being 3 minutes late. I realized at the last minute I had to run to the bathroom. So my apologies for that. And also, welcome everybody back from. If you were here last night, we did a stock options training for the Prime class. If you'd like to see what we do over there, just go to drboyceprime.com. So feel free to take a look. I think you would like what you see. I really do. And don't forget that everything in the Black Business School has a 30-day 100% money back guarantee, because we just know you're going to love it that much. And if you don't love it, then let us know and we can fix everything right away. But we are very good at what we do. And so if you are looking to generate extra income, I think you'll like what we're doing in the Prime program. If you want to understand it, just kind of take a view of it. If you go to boycewatkins.com, there's a training called How to Make Money Without Working. And this is actually it's actually been so successful in terms of helping people that I'm actually going to give a presentation at the Traffic Sales and Profit Conference in Atlanta with Lamar Tyler's group. And this is this awesome group of these Black millionaires, that all these Black millionaire entrepreneurs. And Lamar and I have been friends for over a decade. And so I think I'm going to blow their minds when I do the presentation. I did it last year at the Generational Wealth Conference with Julian Gordon's group. And I'm telling you, if you're I would take the time to try to understand stock options. I think that stock options are an underutilized money making opportunity if you're on the sell side. The buy side is, there's a lot of risk, but on the sell side, it's the best way to make money. It's literally how I'm going to train my kids to make money this way. And then because I told my 13-year-old yesterday when we were going to the orthodontist. I don't know if I told you all this, but I told her, I said, honestly, I want you to know that your bonus dad is kind of a different. I'm like a little bit of a unique guy. In case you haven't noticed, I'm a little bit weird. And I said, so for example, I'm not going to really talk to you about how you can grow up and get like the right kind of job or pick the right kind of career. I said, because think about it, like people always talk about like getting their dream job. But I said, who dreams about going to work? Most people don't dream about going to work. Like, going to work is not, and I said, think about it. Like I said, so I want you to really think about it, right? I said, you and I are hanging together and it's 12:30 in the afternoon. I just took you to the orthodontist. We're about to go to Starbucks, or actually we didn't go to Starbucks. We went to Dunkin' Donuts instead because they're protesting Starbucks because of the whole Palestinian thing, right? And so I said I couldn't do this if I was at work all day. Like imagine if I was in my at my job all day and I left at 7 in the morning and then came home at 6. Like you would never see me. And I said, that's how, unfortunately, that's how a lot of us are raised to live. And I said, so they talk about getting a dream job, but I said, I don't think anybody dreams of labor, right? I said, so rather than me coaching you on how to get a dream job, I said, or I don't want to coach you to go chase a dream job. I want to coach you to chase a dream. And she kind of paused, and I said, yeah, I want you to have a dream. I want you to have a good life. I want you to be happy. I want you to be fulfilled. And really the best gift I think I could give you as your father slash bonus dad, because she does have a biological father and he's a great guy. We work together to raise his kids, and it's really, don't listen to the silliness online about that. So like it's really a blessing if you care about people and want to do the right thing for children or whatever. But anyway, I said the best gift I can give you is to liberate you from that 100,000 hours of labor that you would end up giving to the corporate plantation. I said, so that's why I'm investing for you. That's why I'm teaching you how to make money. That's why I'm teaching you how to get enough money so that you can really do what you want to do. I said, a lot of people will tell you, like, she loves to dance. Like, dancing is her thing. That's all she gets up in the morning and will make up a whole dance routine and show us like her dance routine. Like it's just in her blood. And I said, I think you want to dance, and I think it's kind of sad we live in a world where there are little girls who want to dance and people are telling them that it's unrealistic to be a dancer, a professional dancer. And why? Well, why is it unrealistic? Well, because you got to go to work and you got to get a career and you got to go get a real job and so you can pay your bills. Why? Like, why? What is this? So are you giving up your life so you can become a millionaire? No, no, because corporations don't make millionaires. They don't turn people into millionaires. What are you doing? You're trying to get $5,000 a month so you can barely scrape by like everybody else in America, like all these millions of other people that are struggling financially. I mean, think about this. Think about what we actually sell to our kids, like this BS nonsense that's easily preventable. And I now here's the thing: I understand why people don't prevent it because they just don't know. They don't know. They don't know what I know. I'm a finance PhD, so I know things people don't know, and that's why I talk to you guys every single day because I want you to know what I know. But literally, if you just that little blackwealthmasterplan.com, I mention that website every single day because that's a little 5-minute plan that you can implement quickly that would literally get rid of all that. Like you can literally liberate and save your child from all of the misery and stress and trauma and racism and being drained emotionally and physically from having to get up and go to work every day, spending more time with their boss than they spend with their kids. There's nothing natural about that. There's nothing natural about spending more time with your boss, your old evil, raggedy, mean boss, than spending with your own family. Like there's nothing natural about that. There's nothing that makes sense about that. It only seems to make sense because everybody else is doing it, but that's all by design, in my opinion. So in that conversation that I had with little Taylor, my nicknames for her are Tay Tay and Tater. That's what I call her. But little Taylor, she's growing up now. She's 13, and she's taller than me now because again, her biological dad is 6'6", so all the kids are like these big giants. And I said that's the thing I want to give you is I want to give you freedom. I want to give you happiness. I want you to be liberated, to be able to find bliss in a good way, in a healthy way, wherever you find it, right? So if that means going off to Paris and being a dancer and where you're not making any money but your bills are all paid, then cool, let's figure that out. Let's figure out how you can get that $5,000 a month. Think about this: the difference between freedom and slavery for most people is usually a measly $5,000 a month. For most people, most Americans, if they were able to find a way to make $5,000 a month and some kind of passive income or something, it's not to say 5,000 a month will let you ball out of control, but it would be enough to cover most of your bills and you can stay home all day and then do what you really want to do, not what your job is telling you to do. So why do we all have to give all that up, give up our freedom and our happiness to do these jobs that we don't even want to do? Well, it's because nobody had a financial plan for us. Nobody left us any assets, right? A lot of time was wasted. And so again, blackwealthmasterplan.com is where that $5 a day plan is. And I've mentioned it a million times. I'm gonna keep on mentioning it just so you know. And I repeat things because I don't want you to overthink it. I don't want you to think that financial freedom is this really elusive concept that only exists for rich people or people that have PhDs or in finance or whatever. No, it's something that can literally be done with something very basic. I compare it to when I was trying to lose weight. When I was trying to lose weight, it wasn't like the methodology was complex. It's not complex. It's like, Boyce, stop eating Skittles and go to the gym every day. That's it. It doesn't even matter what you do in the gym. Just do something that's going to make you sweat and stop eating so much candy and you're going to lose weight, right? What's the hard part? The hard part is not the strategy. The hard part is the implementation. The hard part is developing the habits. And that's one of the reasons why in my book, The 10 Commandments of Black Economic Power, drboycebooks.com, if you want to get a copy, that's why I spent so much time talking about culture and habits and the subconscious mind. That's your key. That's your wealth key that people don't discuss, right? Because it's not like there are all these amazing secrets that only rich people know. They do exist, but now information is available everywhere. You have access to AI and Google and people like me and all this other stuff. So the information is available. It's really the implementation and the execution and walking away from the bad habits and forming good ones, right? So if you focus on that and that explains why we're doing 30 days of financial consciousness, because I realized this was something I wanted to do to help us reprogram our subconscious minds. So I want to help reprogram your mind, or help you, like, right, with your permission, right? I'm not coming here trying to do voodoo on you or anything like that. And I'm reprogramming my mind because I wanted to get in the habit of coming in and talking to you every morning at the same time. So we're all kind of programming ourselves. It takes 30 days to form a habit. That's why we're doing this. Okay. So there's my spiel. I didn't even plan on talking about all that, but that was on my mind. And I thought that that conversation I had with Tater would be beneficial to those of you that are trying to teach wealth to your kids. Okay. All right. So let's go to our next our reflection for today. Today's the fifth day, and we have our day 5 reflection. And again, if you don't have the reflection journal, just go to drboycebooks.com and look up 30 days, and you can get an e-copy or a physical copy. If you get a physical copy, our 16-year-old Nicole is the one that will actually mail that to you. But you won't get it before the class is done. However, you can get the e-copy early. And also, if you want to get recordings of everything we've done for days 1 through 4, plus everything we do over the next 30 days or this whole 30-day period, just go to drboyceelevate.com. That's drboyceelevate.com. Everything that we do here is recorded and it's stored over there, including the slides. So the day 5 reflection that I want you to fill out in your journal is about people. Like, who in your life is a financial drain where you need to renegotiate that relationship, right? Like, who is it that is it your child that's draining you financially? Is there some business partner that you're working with that you don't want to work with anymore? Are you dating somebody that just, where the financial arrangement isn't working for you? Do you have the wrong kinds of friends that are in your life that are not helping you elevate financially? It's up to you to figure out what that looks like. But a lot of us have these little drains in our lives, and it's really hard to renegotiate with the drains because you don't want to have those difficult conversations. So I actually, I'm not a real therapist. I'm just an armchair therapist, but I spend a lot of time with therapists because my wife is one. You guys know that. And we have our Black Financial Therapy Department. Again, this is an awesome innovation that we have here that you won't find it anywhere else, because I'm convinced that mindset is the number one variable that we have to work through. And so I'm going to put on my pseudo therapist hat and share some ways for you to have these difficult conversations that will allow you to renegotiate these relationships. And actually, let me tell you a story. There was one time I remember in 2016, and I was working with some different people, and I remember sitting there in this restaurant, and it was a rainy day, and I was feeling really bad. And I didn't know why I felt bad. I was like, why do I feel bad? I feel overwhelmed. I feel pulled in so many directions. And I felt like I just needed a recalibration. But I couldn't understand what was going on. So I just analyzed my life. I started reflecting, just like we do here. I was reflecting on my life, and I was like, God, why do I feel so crappy? What's going on? And I realized that it came down to 2 people. It came down to 2 people. There was one business partner that I was working with, who was a complete jerk, and he got on my nerves, and I I didn't like talking to him. And there was this lady, it was before I started dating my wife, with this lady that, a very pretty lady, who just would nag me into the ground, and it just drove me insane. So I instantly realized, like, just from that moment of reflection, okay, I need these 2 people out of my life. Right now, obviously, that's extreme. I don't think you have to remove people per se all the time, but in that case, it wasn't. If I had not sat down and really thought about it, I would not have realized that the source of my stress was just those 2 people. And once I removed those 2 people, I was able to breathe much easier. So this is what I'm referring to, right? So maybe you have people like that where you have to have these difficult conversations. So I'm gonna give you some quick guidelines on how to have difficult conversations, and then I'm gonna answer a few of your questions, and we're gonna bounce on out for today because we're gonna meet every single morning at 10 a.m. Eastern. All right. So the first thing is prepare and plan before you initiate the conversation. Think about what your financial boundaries are. I saw something with Cedric the Entertainer, who has been the subject of quite a bit of conversation lately after that Cat Williams interview. He said something that I thought was pretty smart. He said that, when it comes to helping family, I have a family fund. I put a certain amount of money in that fund every year, and I say this is what's allocated to helping family. That way he didn't get caught in that trap of trying to help everybody all the time with everything. And so setting your boundaries and understanding what you can and cannot do, I think is really important where you can say, look, I care about you. I want to help, but these are the boundaries. This is what I can and can't do. So you want to figure out that out in your head before you have these conversations. Number two, choose the right time and setting. So if you want to talk to somebody, maybe find a neutral private place where you can sit and talk, and you can kind of listen to each other, and show respect to that individual that you're trying to renegotiate with. I'm thinking more so about people like your kids or your friend or your partner or your parents or whoever, right? And I think being honest about, like, look, this is tough for me. I got to make an adjustment, or whatever, right? I think that choosing the right time and place to have that conversation is very important. So being very intentional, very conscious about having that conversation, I think goes a long way. Number three, clearly communicate clearly and calmly. The one thing I learned from therapists is that the using I statements is very important in situations where there might be conflict. Like, how many of you, for example, how many of you have relatives that feel like the whole world owes them something? Does anybody have relatives like that, where there are people that just feel like they just have no problem with the fact that that they're there to ask other people to do things for them, and maybe they're the baby of the family or whatever, but they start to feel really victimized when people are not coming in and helping them clean up their BS or solving their problem or whatever, and they've always got a story or something to guilt trip you with. It's probably, and if you're economically successful, like I know a lot of you are, you probably feel that tenfold, and it's very, very difficult. And I think as Black people, I think we have a lot of survivor's guilt, you know, like somehow the fact that you went to school and you worked hard and you set goals and you were disciplined, still means you were lucky and blessed, whereas everybody else that didn't have that same level of success, it was only just luck of the draw, but it wasn't really luck of the draw, right? So what I find is that to minimize conflict and not make people feel blamed, using the word "I" goes a long way. When you know, this is another little tip, like for those of you that are married, stuff like that. If you have a difficult conversation, use the word "I" a lot. Talk about how you feel. Don't say because you did this and because you did that, because at that point you're kind of giving you're breaking one of the four horsemen of an argument. The four horsemen of an argument are four things you should avoid are contempt, having contempt for another person, criticism, people don't like to be criticized, contempt, criticism, defensiveness, being overly defensive, like if somebody brings something up to you, getting super defensive about it, and stonewalling, kind of like not wanting to have the conversation or putting up barriers. Those are the four horsemen of an argument, in case it helps you. And you know, because conflict resolution is really important for relationship building, and we talked about how relationship building links to wealth. It's hard to build wealth if you can't build relationships, especially when you're trying to go to the higher levels. All right, number four, listen and show empathy. Acknowledge the other person's perspective. That was really big for me. Learning how to acknowledge other people's point of view. I found that goes a really long way in tough conversations, because as Oprah Winfrey said a long time ago, and I agree with her on this, she said everybody wants to be heard. That's it. They really want to be heard. So sometimes without me agreeing with you, me letting you know that I hear you, I think it's just almost like a type of respect. And what I find is that when people feel like they're not heard, they just scream louder and louder and louder because they feel like they're not heard. So ultimately letting people know that they're heard, and listening and showing empathy can really be a beneficial way to address conversations. And that's not very popular right now. A lot of people don't have empathy. A lot of people don't listen. But everybody's talking. Everybody's talking, but nobody's listening. When I'm in my right mind, I try to listen to everything, but even I have a hard time with that, right? So I would encourage you to do that. Again, this is what the experts say. Number five is propose solutions and set boundaries, so you can suggest specific and realistic changes that can help balance that financial relationship. So you're talking to that child and they're used to you paying their rent every month. You say, okay, we're going to renegotiate this. Here's what I can do. Here's what I can't do. Let's make a plan. And that's a good way to kind of reestablish. And it's really almost like companies do this all the time. You know, they have to negotiate with creditors and stuff like that and explain, look, this is what we can pay. This is what we can't pay, or this is when we can pay. Or maybe establishing quid pro quos and things like that. I do that with my kids all the time. My older kids, the ones that I adopted through the years, like they call me and they're always asking me for money, or they need help with this and help with that. And I don't want to say no all the time. I'd like to say yes. but I know I can't say yes all the time because number one, I can't afford to say yes all the time. Number two, it's not good for you. I'm not going to enable you to be disabled, right? So what we do is we have a kind of a back and forth, so as we're talking, I'm getting to know what's happening in their lives, and we're kind of figuring things out. We'll negotiate, and they'll say, okay, I really need this much, and I'll say, I'm not giving you that much, I'm gonna give you this much, and I'm not really going to give it to you. I need you to work for that because I need help over here in my business, and I know you got free time, so if you do this, then I'll do that, and we just work it out like that. We talk back and forth. So I encourage you just to have those conversations, because here's the thing, right? A lot of people have a hard time sort of linking and connecting family with money. And I think that if you do it the right way, it can be really beneficial. I think that again, your family is your multi-million-dollar asset that a lot of people don't see the value in. So the family breaks up and everybody's out here trying to figure it out by themselves, and then everybody's drowning individually. Everybody's drowning individually. And the truth is that if you were able to find a way to work together, you wouldn't drown. Everybody would help everybody succeed, but everybody's got to pull their weight, and no one can sort of be a dead weight or a hole in the boat, right? So that becomes the challenge, right? So you say, my cousin, it messes me up because he's on drugs. Well, I can't do anything with my cousin or do business with my cousin, and this is why you'll hear me sometimes talk about very passionately about things like drugs, and how I believe strongly in a no drug policy for any family that wants to be successful, because I can't think of any family where heavy drugs were involved, where that ended well in their quest for building wealth. Because number one, drugs cost money. Number two, drug addicts are hard, they're not very reliable, right? As relatives. And so just little things like that I think go a long way. All right, so again, the goal was not each morning to keep it that long. My goal was 30 to 45 minutes. I see in the Q&A section there is one question from Camara. I'm a prime student. Where in the course do we find the option course that took place last night? Camara, if you log in, if you want to see everything that's in the Prime program, you can go to drboyceprime.com, drboyceprime.com. But I think you can log in on that page. But actually, if you just log in at theblackbusinessschool.com, theblackbusinessschool.com, and there's a section called Prime Plus Lectures, I believe. And that's where Chanel puts all of the recordings. So everything we do in Prime is recorded. It's all in there, and you can go grab that. And also, if you're new to stock options, there's a whole stock options masterclass in there and all kinds of stuff that you can take a look at, because we've kind of covered kind of everything. So when I meet with you guys, it's really to answer questions or tell you what investments I'm making, stuff like that. All the introductory materials already available. So anyway, all right. So I'm going to go ahead and let you guys go. Wait, I see another question here. Can you put the slide back up? Okay, sure, Karen. Absolutely. Let me put the slide up for Karen. And anything for you, ma'am. All right, so let's see here. All right, so here is the slides. Okay, so let's go through this again. How to have these difficult conversations. Number one, prepare and plan. So make sure you understand your boundaries, sort of think about what you want to say, how you want the conversation to go. Number two, choose the right time and place. Be conscious about sort of where you're talking to people, right? So maybe, for example, I'm thinking about in family, sometimes I might want to have a conversation with my cousin that I don't want to have in front of everybody else, or I don't want everybody to know what's going on with me and that particular relative. Or maybe that person's dodging me. I had a cousin that borrowed $3,000 from me a few years ago, and he literally dodged me for like 5 or 6 years. And eventually I realized I wasn't going to get my money back. I think I saw him, he had a tooth missing, which told me, y'all know what it is, right? When somebody got that big tooth missing and they're not even conscious enough to know what that looks like, that tells me, okay, now I think I know what's really going on here, right? So anyway, and eventually I just had to kind of let him know. I think it was at a funeral or something. And I was like, don't, you know what? I know you're dodging me. Just leave it alone, right? So I think kind of deciding like which battles to pick or whatever, and when and where to address certain topics goes a long way. Number three, communicating clearly and calmly, using those I statements instead of you statements. You statements are the worst statements to use in a tough conversation, because that instantly makes a person feel attacked and defensive, and then it becomes a back and forth, and you don't want all that. Use I statements. Like instead of saying you did this to me, you could say, I feel like blah 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 blah, or I feel financially drained. I feel tired because I'm having to cover so many different things, and it's really, really difficult. And I understand. So that's the next one, empathy, right? I understand that you're dealing with this and dealing with that. But I feel like it's really hitting me financially, and I don't feel like I should have to do all of this. Right. So I statements. Number five, propose solutions and set boundaries. We're all about solutions here, so find those solutions, solve that problem. And again, I want to reiterate that I don't really think that I hear a lot of people that will sort of deal with it in a real simple way, like they'll say, "I don't loan money to family," or "I don't do business with family." I don't think that that's required, and I don't think that's healthy. I don't think it's healthy for you to run away from the people that are supposed to empower you. I talked to two young guys yesterday. They were friends of our son, and they were, one's 20, his brother was 18, and the 18-year-old has a big TikTok following, like a few several 100,000 followers on TikTok. And I was talking to him about how to monetize that platform. I said you need to understand, you're sitting on a multi-million-dollar asset, like with 600,000 TikTok followers. Because it was weird, like TikTok is so strange, like they'll he would get on there with his girlfriend and do these goofy dances that I mean, the dances were like bad and goofy. It wasn't like they were good dancers at all. And they would get all hundreds of thousands of followers. It made no sense. But I was like, okay, well, here's what you do, and here's how you can look at it. And I said, work with your brother. Your brother loves you. He's loyal to you. You're not going to get that loyalty from a stranger. You're not gonna people. I said, I've worked with my brother for 17 years. And he's loyal to me because I used to change his diapers, and it's a bond you can't break. And I said that really matters in business because through the years I've had people that work with me, and if I can't pay them, they leave, they go do something else. My brother is not like that. My brother will work with me if I have lots of money or if I have no money, right? So I was explaining to them. I said, yeah, get along with each other and help each other out and balance each other out. And maybe you never know. Maybe you'll both go off and make millions of dollars together. At the very least, you'll be more connected and you'll have a lot of fun. So let me see here. Next question. Akila says, if we have any issues in the BBS account, what's the proper email to use? We have a great support team. All you have to do is email support@theblackbusinessschool.com. That's support@theblackbusinessschool.com. You can also email Chanel if for whatever reason you don't get the response quick enough. Chanel, Chanell, Chanel@boycewatkins.com. And Chanel will make sure you're taken care of. I assure you. Anthony, with empathy, it seems that in a lot of situations, people just want to spend all your time empathizing with their situation instead of forming a plan to move ahead in a positive direction. How do you balance this out? You know what? I find like taking that time to really listen to people and kind of hear out what they have to say goes a long way, right? And once they kind of get all that out and you let them know you understand what's going on, then you can sort of consciously say, okay, and I understand what's going on here. So now I'd like to make a plan. Like, so what's the plan, right? And I do get it though. Some people are stuck. Some people can't move forward, and I guess in those situations, maybe you eventually just have to accept the fact that they're not going to be able to, form a plan with you. But you could say, well, this is my plan, right? My plan is this is what I'm going to do. This is what I'm not going to do, right? That's what I do. If somebody's still, stuck and they're not trying to move forward, then eventually I'll let them know, well, this is what I'm going to do. And I just want you to know that. I just want you aware. I'm informing you that you will no longer be receiving money from me. And that's it. Right. So if we can't make a plan together, then I'm going to make a plan for me. Right. And you're just going to have to acknowledge that. Terrence, where do I find the recordings from the last 2 days? Go to drboyceelevate.com. That's drboyceelevate.com. And there's a fee attached to get all the recordings and everything, but it's lifetime access and you can share it with your whole family. So it's really like buy one, get 10 free. So you can do it like a Netflix membership and share it with anybody in your family. Let's see here. Can you repeat the 4 horsemen of an argument? Yes, Audrey. The 4 horsemen are defensiveness, being defensive, when people bring stuff up to you, stonewalling. And I think stonewalling is like when you just don't want to have the conversation and you just sort of put up a barrier. Contempt, having contempt for another person. In fact, they actually say that if you are in a relationship where the other person has contempt for you, that causes you to die younger. People that are constantly the subject of someone's contempt, it affects your physical health. Like people like that die younger. It's kind of crazy. So contempt, and then criticism, like criticizing people doesn't go well in an argument or in a debate or I guess a difficult conversation. So I would encourage you to look into that. Now, my wife works on this sort of stuff. She sees a lot of different couples and individuals. So if you want to go see what she does, her website is coachingwithdralicia.com. That's coachingwithdralicia.com. So feel free if you want to work on some stuff with your own family. She's very good at that. All right. In fact, I learned a lot of this stuff from her. And also, I like to talk to my therapist. It helps me to understand how I'm built and what my limitations are and all that stuff. All right, so let's see. Veronica, last question. Veronica says, I will email my plan to send Chanel next week to speak on $1,000 earned per 7 sales in my travel business. Okay. All right. Well, that's good, Veronica. We look forward to getting your email. So yeah, Chanel, Chanell at boycewatkins.com. And she's the assistant for what we're doing here. All right, so that's it. Okay, so let's see. We've done 34 minutes. This is our shortest class yet, and I want to keep it short because I want us to be consistent. I want us to do 30 straight days. This is day 5, so we got 25 days left, and so I got a little bit of travel in there, whatever. But I'm gonna still make it on my travel days, and we're gonna make this happen. We're gonna get it done. Okay. All right. So God bless you guys. Hope you have a wonderful day, and I will see you all tomorrow morning. Take care now. Bye bye.